This program was better than last week's because it would be hard not to be. It would be hard for any TV program not to be better than the one that they showed last week. But it's up and it's down. The first match. Honest to God, I would have rather seen this match in NXT, I think, because then Adam Cole would have been there for it. It wouldn't have just been Dax. The Adam Cole that we knew and loved would have been involved in that one too. The opening match was the Owen Hart tournament match, Adam Cole and Dax Harwood. And again, as soon as I saw this, I said, so the way that this bracketing works out, Adam Cole couldn't beat the company mascot when he first made his debut in AEW, but now that he's been around for a few months, he can beat one of the best in-ring wrestlers in the world. See why you need to plan ahead. See why when you get a star, you don't immediately put him in a joke match and have him do a job just because the other guy's a babyface, because you might need this guy sometime. There's no pre-planning and thought into any of this shit. They just lurch forward with what's in front of them that they think of on the spot. Anyway, I believed that Tony Khan should give Dax and Cash extra contracts to train the rest of the guys on their roster. I mean, Dax is incredible. We don't even need to say that. Everybody's recognizing it now. And they did some good, serious wrestling. But then Adam Cole takes over, gets some heat on Dax, and they go to the floor, and they're down on the floor forever before they go to the break, because that's the kind of thing that would have been tightened up in NXT. Adam would have still been in shape, in some kind of physical condition. He would still been being presented as a top guy, and the referees would have been competent, and they would have all known the rules. This would have been a better match in NXT. But Dax did what he could. That we talked about earlier in the program, Jim Ross calling the chest first a la Bret Hart turnbuckle as if it was an offensive move that Bret was known for. They announced AEW is coming to Savannah, Georgia. Good fucking luck. Good fucking luck. Let's see how that one goes. You know about Savannah, don't you?
No, I don't know why you're saying that, no.
When was the last time you heard about a major wrestling crowd in Savannah, Georgia?
Jeez, I can't.
Exactly.
For the NWA?
For anybody. For anybody. For anybody. That's why the Georgia office gave Savannah to Crockett at one point in the, what was it, late 70s? Because they just, fuck it, we ain't going to go lose any money there anymore. In the 80s, when everything was selling out, you go to Savannah, fuck you, we don't want to come. I'll buy somebody a drink if they draw a big house in Savannah, Georgia. Anyway, they went back and forth. They had a good match. Dax got a couple of 2 counts with the pile driver. I thought, oh my God, okay, now pile driver's an immediate 2 count, but nevertheless, Dax got at the sharpshooter, but he was selling his ribs from being thrown into the post. He couldn't hold it. And then Cole knocked him off the apron to the floor where he took a bump on his bad ribs. And then Cole gets the sharpshooter and Dax tapped out. So yes, there was something that he could sell in terms of his ribs were injured. But you've got 2 guys that are comparable in terms of the way they're being presented. FTR, the top tag team. Or they're just not the champions, but they're the top tag team. Cole's one of the top singles guys. The heel should, if he's going to beat the babyface should have an out. So the ribs kind of work, but I'm gobsmacked that the heel without cheating, that anybody thinks it's a good idea for the heel to make the babyface quit without cheating in really any shape or form to lead to it. I still can't get used to that and don't see why it's necessary. Your thoughts?
Good match. Dax is one of the best wrestlers in ring that we've seen in a very long time. He gets better and better Luckily, he's been getting a lot of exposure on their TV. I'd like to see more FTR matches. FTR was getting a lot of buzz. The fans are really getting behind him. And since that time, we saw Dax versus Punk, and then we see Dax versus Cole, and no more FTR matches.
Who won those matches? Not Dax.
Not Dax.
So every time they start to do something and people are talking about them, and all of a sudden singles matches or jobs or hide you from television.
Yeah, we got Dax versus Punk, Dax versus Cash, and then Dax versus Cole. The other thing is,
at least Dax beat Cash.
You've spent so much time the last several years talking about cosplay wrestling and cosplay wrestlers. Not just guys who want to play dress up and be a character, but people who are performing as professional wrestlers. And I always think about what would embarrass me if someone was here when I was watching wrestling. And it's happened sometimes where I have to watch it and someone's here and I'm like, oh, how do I explain this? Adam Cole is one of the biggest cosplay wrestling culprits out there. The finish was ridiculous because I don't believe Adam Cole could submit anyone.
Yeah.
He's got no physique. He's got no tan. He's shorter than everyone. He's scrawnier than everyone. He's a scrawny wrestler. And he's got no tan. He's out there and he looks like crap. He's a cosplay wrestler. He could slap his thigh like everyone else does. He could kick out of all the moves like everyone else does. He could flip his hair around. And he's got an entrance that he likes to do his little pose for. And people will yell a catchphrase. But other than that, I'm sorry. He's smaller than every wrestler on the roster. He's smaller than Britt Baker. He's smaller than Orange Cassidy. He's smaller than Danhausen. He has no physique, and we're supposed to accept him as a main event caliber wrestler because they tell us that. He's done nothing to establish himself as that in AEW. Whatever he had coming off NXT is gone.
Yeah.
I have a problem with this match because I think the finish itself, not just Adam Cole going over, but him submitting Dax to the sharpshooter was ridiculous. The booking of FTR for the last month has been asinine. But when you talk cosplay wrestling, it's not just the guys like Orange Cassidy that's a stupid gimmick that embarrasses us. Adam Cole. Imagine you sitting in a room with someone who didn't watch wrestling and they're watching Adam Cole versus Dax. He's half the size of fucking Dax. It's ridiculous.
Yep.
And that's why I agreed with you earlier when you said this match would have been different in NXT. Whether it was just the way they filmed him or the fact that he was taking his physique seriously. And again, I always say this, the caveat, I hope he's not sick or anything. Because that's the only other thing I could think of why he would just give up on trying to look like a wrestler.
And again, you know, that's if it was in NXT, we would have had a referee with authority and we would have but Dax did the best he could here. Let's just put it that way.
I agree.